What is going on, guys? It is ChosenTCG here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys a Apprentice Macro Monarch deck. And I've been a veteran user of this deck. It's a deck that's been popular for quite a while, but nobody has been playing it for maybe the past like 4 or 5 years. And it's really popular just kind of after Perfect Circle and just before Light Ones hit their peak, but it's still a really fun deck. And the reason I want to show you guys this Macro Monarch variant is because Macro Monarchs have always been this deck that, like, it's never a meta deck, but it's a deck that you can always use it, and if you get the right draws, you can pretty much shut most of the top tier decks down. So a couple examples: if, let's say, windups a couple formats ago, you want to play windups with this deck, you're gonna have a good advantage. Obviously, they don't use the graveyard as often. I think, like, you can, because this deck pretty much shuts down the graveyard. Like, that's basically what this deck does. And this is only one variant. There's obviously different variants, but let's say windups, you shut down the rat. I know that they were really strong this last format. You shut down the rat, you shut down a big part of their combo. Obviously, this format, you shut down their rat. It's really hard for them to really do anything. And let's see, top tier decks right now: Mermills, Firefist. You shut down the graveyard. It's gonna be really hard for Mermills to really make a good push. Because you can really slow the decks down. Same thing with Firefist. You can slow the deck down. Not as much as Mermills. I think Mermills. Let's see. Mermills. Yeah, Mermills rely on the graveyard quite a lot, and they play Avarice and they play, I believe. Yeah, so everything pretty much, the discarding effects, they have to, I believe they have to discard it to the grave, so I'm just gonna check out. I think you do have to, yep, so you do have to discard it to the grave, so it does stop these, what is it called, Mermill effects, and then your what is it called, Macrocosmos and D-Fissure also stops hand traps like Maxi and Effect Veiler. So this is a great deck. So obviously it's a Monarch deck that utilizes the Macro Engine, or the remove from play aspect of the game, or I'm sorry, the banish aspect of the game. So 7 Monarchs, I think. So this is what I ran back then, and I didn't play Mobius for a long time just because Starlight Road came out. I don't know how popular it is right now. I don't think people play it. But I always ran 3 Caius and 2 Raizes, and that's basically the base of the Monarchs. And then you can run extra. You can run like Kuraz if you want. Maybe you can run that new Monarch. I forgot what it's called. But these are pretty much what I run. 7 Monarchs. And then I run the Apprentice Engine, which is pretty much an extra tribute fodder engine for your deck. It gives you pluses as well. So Apprentice Magician destroyed, you get to get one of these guys or another Apprentice Magician, set it face down defense position, and then Crystal Seer, you would get Crystal Seer or Old Vindictive. So Crystal Seer would is basically kind of like a mini Potter Duality, and I don't run Potter Duality in this deck just because I feel like I don't really have enough space. Like, I do want to get to the cards as soon as possible, but I mean, I'm pretty lucky. Like, I do get the D-Fissure and Survivor pretty quickly, but like, I would take out maybe like one D.D Warrior Lady, maybe one Starlight Road, put in 2 dualities to add more consistency. But I feel like you just gotta use more defensive cards because that's what the deck is. It's a stun deck. See, if I took out, let's say, 2 Torrential, that's 2 extra cards that could have been really helpful to me. But yeah, so D.D Survivors and D.D Scout Planes, I used to run 2, but pretty much this is mandatory. Like, 3 Survivors is definitely mandatory. This makes up for, all the pluses. So basically, if this card, you can use it to tribute, or you can use this to just crash into cards, or use it as defense. Is a great card. And there's also this ruling, I believe. It's that during the end phase, if it gets bottomless, so let's say it comes back and it gets bottomless, it doesn't come back. I'm not sure how this works, but it doesn't happen too often to me. But it doesn't matter that much. It's still 1800 standalone card. It's great. See, so Scout Plane's a bit different. It comes up face up attack position, so you do have to be careful. It's only 800 attack, but it's just there because of tribute fodder. And then I play 3 D Dualities. Might swap it out for dualities, but whatever. I'm still gonna run 3. It's a great card, great standalone card. You play this, it's pretty much a 1-for-1. I mean, what's your opponent gonna do? They're gonna have to attack it, or they're gonna have to like Dark Hole or like Smashing Ground or whatever. All right, so 1 Allure goes well with the Scout Plane. I just, I know you're like, why are you running 1 Allure but like no dualities? I do run this deck in real life. That's why I kind of wanted to mimic the exact same thing. I don't have Potter dualities with me, so that's kind of the main reason. And then Soul Exchange, I think I run 2, but 1 is good. So you need that extra card out there just for your tributes to go off, and then you can run what is that thing called? Enemy Controller. So enemy controller, kind of like Treeburn Frog style. You tribute your Scout Plane, and then you'll come back next turn, and then you take your opponent's card, and then you tribute your opponent's monster, and you tribute for a Monarch, and you get the effect off. And then your Dark Hole Smashing, no Monster Reborn, no Heavy Storm. I don't like Heavy Storm. I don't like it in this deck. I used to run it. It's not that good anymore. It's not that good because I run so many traps, and I run 3D fissures. I mean, I don't want to heavy, and I barely OTK. Like, I don't. It's not a deck that OTKs. It's a control deck, and then Smashing Ground, just extra card. You can run duality and replacement with that. So 3D fissures, 3 macro. I think I only run 2 macros in real life, but 2 to 3, it doesn't matter that much. As long as you get it, you disrupt your opponent's plays, and then you get your survivors. It just keeps on. It just things get rolling once you get this card. You want to get this card ASAP, and it does have the effect of what is it called? Special summoning Helios, which I thought of putting Helios the Primordial Sun, which I never actually put in my deck, but I thought of putting it in there, just because I can actually get it out, and then I could tribute for a Monarch. But when you draw that Helios, you'll be really mad, okay? Because that Helios is just completely useless. But yeah, so extra traps, just just like basic traps, Bottomless. You can run Deep Prison, you can run, more Compulsory, the Solemn, of course, and then these 2 are very important. Torrential Tribute. You gotta, it goes well with your Survivor combos, and then 2 Starlight Roads. I was running 1, but 2 is definitely great because you do want to stop the heavy storm. Like, once your opponent heavies, because you're gonna be setting so many cards, and you're gonna be playing so many back rows. Once your opponent heavies, it's game over. Same thing with what was that thing? Delta Crow. I remember a Blackman player, he Delta Crowed me, and I went like, oh no, I'm gonna go Starlight Road. Even though I had like 1 macro face, I think I had like 3 face downs, including Starlight Road. But it's you never know when your opponent's gonna come up with like random stuff. Same thing with like X Sabers. They just go, you play a random X Saber guy, they go Hyunlei, and then you go, oh okay, Starlight Road. And yeah, thank you, man. I just got a Star Striking out. Speaking of Star Striking, I forgot to put it in the extra deck, so I'm sorry about that, guys. So speaking of the extra deck, you don't really need anything. But if you do, it's mainly like level 4s. I don't think you need level 6s. You're never gonna get 2 Monarchs out at the same time and be like, yo, I'm gonna XYZ for level 6. I mean, it doesn't ever happen. And this looks like a really great budget deck right now, right? So extra cards you can use. So I usually have like a full shitload of cards you can use. So I forgot to. Well, I was kind of too lazy to just get them from the search, but Power Duality, for consistency, you can use. You can also use other cards like yeah. So I can't remember that one card. It's kind of like a Dark Hole, but you don't use it. So yeah. So you can use D.D Dynamite, I believe. No, D.D Dynamite. It's kind of like extra burn if you want. You can use, like I said, Helios. The extra cards, extra random cards you can use. I think you can use D.D Assailant. Yeah, Assailant is D.D Assailant, not Night Assailant, but D.D Assailant is great in this deck. I used to use it, and then there's also you can use Rhoda. I use Rhoda to get Survivor, Warrior Lady. You can use that, and there's also other cards like what is it called? I can't remember the name. D.D Barrier, I believe. No, that card's actually not that good. If you guys want to search it up, you know what? Let's search it up. Okay, sorry, D.D. Yeah, D.D Borderline. Yeah, so I used this before kind of for fun. So when there are no spell cards in the grave, neither player can conduct their battle phase. It's kind of like a troll card. Nah, I don't think you want to use it. But yeah, so there's definitely more cards you can use. Yeah, so don't use D.D Crow, guys. Just because, like I said, you got to discard this to the graveyard. You know, if you have macro or D Fissure out, it's not gonna work. Oh yeah, so there's another card you can use. Servant. So it's Gravekeeper's Servant. So I might do a video just on this and Macrocosmos and D Fissure. But basically, if you have this and D Fissure out on the field, it's pretty much so basically Gravekeeper Servant. Your opponent cannot declare attack unless they send one card from the top of the deck to the graveyard. So if you have macro, well, it's impossible. You can't send one to the graveyard, so they cannot attack. With D Fissure, the ruling on that, so I'll explain it later, but basically if you have either one of these in combination with Gravekeeper Servant, it can't attack. So that's pretty neat. Let's see other cards. I can't really think of any, but pretty much this is basically the deck. There's so many versions of it. There's, I think, versions where you have 3 copies of Cyber Valley. I don't know why people ran that though, because I found it pretty slow. And then there's also versions where you can use like the gerbil. I don't remember the name, the hamster, where it's kind of extra fodder for your monarchs. Pretty much like a pure Monarch engine with like 4 DD cards. And yeah, so I think that's all I'm going to talk about. It's kind of reminiscing the old memories of me using this deck. It's definitely one of the, I don't want to say it was one of those decks that you kind of can just pick up and start playing. Yeah, it doesn't take that much skill to learn. There's not too many effects. It's just basically, you know, set your cards and grind it out with your survivors and go for a plus if you see an opportunity with a Monarch. So thanks for watching, guys, and hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm probably going to be dueling with this deck, you know, against some other guys and on DN. So thanks for watching, guys, and this is ChosenTCG, and I'll see you guys in the next video.